Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. I would say if there is 3 legions that really encapsulate the Horus Heresy for me in terms of their impact, their presence, and just sort of what the heresy meant for them, it would be the Imperial Fists for the Loyalists and the Wordbearers and the Sons of Horus for the Traitors. Those are just the legions which spring to my mind when someone says Horus Heresy. And whilst we have had the Imperial Fists, we haven't yet taken a look at the 2 Traitor Legions, and so today, stepping into the footsteps of the War Master himself, the Legion formerly known as the Lunar Wolves, and currently known as the Black Legion, but during the time of the Great Crusade and the Heresy, they were of course the Sons of Horus. The Sons of Horus are all about going for the throat, that rapid, quick, brutal strike, almost like a blitzkrieg I guess you could call it. They have aspects of pretty much all the other legions about them. They're a bit of a generic sort of legion like the Dark Angels, but they tend to be pretty proficient at almost everything. It is of course though in melee where they really do shine, and to help them withstand the fiercest attacks of their opponents, the Merciless Fighters Legion trait is, in a somewhat similar way to the Iron Hands, a very good defensive buff, albeit one that focuses on melee rather than shooting. And what Merciless Fighters does is that when an enemy unit charges you, as long as they're not a vehicle, they have to reduce the strength of all of their attacks by 1. So that is chainswords and power swords down to strength 3, and even things like power fists and thunderhammers will be dropping to strength 7 instead of strength 8, which also means that this works in a very powerful way as a way to help you survive instant death scenarios when they are doubling out your toughness. It is an immensely strong trait, and it will make it feel like even the most brutal enemy charges from armies like the Blood Angels or the World Eaters are just going to be hitting you like a damp fish. And then of course you will survive that onslaught and be able to swing back into your opponent and just annihilate them after they've pretty much just bounced off your armor. If your unit in the Sons of Horus is a vehicle with this trait, instead of the defensive buff minusing their strength, you get access to 3, not D3, but a flat 3 extra hits when you make a ramming attack. So this typically takes things like Rhinos up to D6 plus 3 hits instead of D6, so it really does give you a huge amount more potential hits and a lot more reliability if you are making those kind of attacks. It really is flat out just an incredibly strong Legion trait. It may feel a bit more limited in some ways compared to, for example, the Iron Hands one that works in ranged. This one is melee only, but when you think about it, there is a lot of weaponry that can do some serious damage up close, and it is very easy for your precious characters and HQs to get singled out and smashed down by something like a Power Fist, whereas they do have a lot more protection if they're in a squad against things like las cannons and melter. So I do genuinely think that this is going to give you a lot more confidence going into things like challenges and fights with enemy characters or enemy terminators, anything that has got that high strength 8, Power Fist or Thunderhammer style weapons. If they get a charge on you, they are going to be a lot less threatening to not only your basic infantry, but also your multi-wound characters. They also, in the article today, as we've come to expect, show us an advanced reaction. This one for the Sons of Horus Death Dealers is hilariously cool, I have to say, and lets you, when an enemy unit targets one of your squads in the shooting phase, as long as they are within 12 inches, you get to make an out-of-phase shooting attack. So before they get to shoot at you, you can, in the opponent's turn, at +1 ballistic skill as well, make a shooting attack into them. So it's really powerful actually. You will be hitting them on 2s rather than 3s, and whilst there are a few restrictions on things like barrage weapons and template weapons like flamers, in general this is just going to let you unleash a load of firepower into an opponent's unit that may be lining up for a charge or is just hoping to shoot you off an objective, and you can do a horrendous amount of damage to them, if not outright take them off the board before they even get to shoot into you. It's worth noting, as you can see at the bottom, it does say the enemy unit can still make all of its shooting attacks even with models that have been killed, so this is less of a defensive reaction, I think, than you might initially expect. It's basically just a way for you to make sure that even if you are getting a load of your infantry killed, you will be taking down a load of enemies with you rather than preventing the damage that they could be doing. It's much more reactive, it is called a reaction rather than a preventive measure. So if you were thinking you could use this, kill a load of the enemy squad and take less damage when they do get round to firing, it doesn't quite work like that, but this will allow you to really punish an enemy unit that may be unloading some bolt pistols into you before they get a charge off, or is just getting close to you and wants to, as I said, shoot you off an objective. You can really punish them for doing that. Again, it seems to be one of those reactions that's so good you probably will be using it every single game, because at some point there is going to be an enemy unit that's within 12 inches of you that probably does want to charge you after they've shot you. So being able to kill off a few of them, if you've got a unit of Terminators which has just moved up to you, has unleashed or is about to unleash their Stormbolters into you, and then is going to follow up with a charge, if you can kill 2 or 3 or 4 of them in the shooting phase, that may change your opponent's decision about whether they do want to charge those Terminators in. So I think all in all, they've got a really strong Legion trait in terms of defensibility and keeping yourself alive, but also in this reaction, you can very much dictate what units are going to get charged by your opponent or what units are going to get shot by your opponent, because if they plan it out incorrectly and they get a unit within 12 inches that they want to shoot and then charge in, they may think, is it going to be worth it? Because I may well lose half the squad because you have this reaction ready to go. But what do you think of these rules? What do you think of the Merciless Fighters rule? Is it a good fit fluff-wise for the Sons of Horus, or were you expecting something else? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.